I'm making you a world, and I'm really going big for both Bedrock Edition and Java Edition, and I'm adding the schematics so you can edit your own world too. We've got most of the capital castle done, and we've got the central island town too. We've even started to put in structures a bit further out. It's time to add the first real test, a dungeon to explore and conquer. Right here, the perfect spot, and it might look a bit familiar. This is Avomance. I've come about 1,000 blocks away from spawn. I wanted somewhere with a lot of trees and plenty of open space. I think this might qualify. This is a great spot for something I've been planning since I opened this world up. I've wanted to do this for a while, and this is the first real opportunity. I've managed to get most of that stuff at spawn done. Not all of it, but I want a little bit of a break from it. I don't think I wanted to come down there, did I? Oh well, I'm in creative. I'm going to bring in a pretty big build that I did a few months ago. But then I'm going to adapt it hard. However, if you think I'm building this again from scratch, you've got another thing coming. Oh no, what I've decided I'm going to do is create a schematic, which I've added to the schematic list that you can download along with this flat world that I've put it into, and the original world as well. That is all for you. I'll tell you how you can get hold of those a little bit later on in the video, so do stick around and watch it all. Otherwise, you're never going to know, are you? And I need to find an area that's relatively flat, but not too flat so as it looks weird, and I can fit it in because this has got a big 100 by 100, give or take, base plate. So this might take a few goes before I'm happy with its placement. And I think this area here over this hill could be a winner. Now I've got to make sure that I'm facing north, and well, that's handy. That way is actually north. So this is going to be where I'm going to be standing when I place it in. Now, I'm obviously going to be using WorldEdit to do this, which means I can make use of the undo command, but I'm still quite nervous about putting it in. Let's load in the schematic first. So schematic load hanging gardens, and I made one just in case I ever make more than one hanging gardens, which, let's face it, is never going to happen. And that is it right there. Time for a little bit of trial and error pasting. So I started pasting it in a few times and then moving it across a few blocks, back a few blocks, forward a few blocks, trying to get a good position. But it always felt that it was just a little bit undercover with the trees around it. It didn't feel like it had an edge. And then I thought, why don't I just paste it a few blocks upwards and I can build up something, maybe some rocks, etc., to go up to the entrance and make it stand proud of the plains. That's what I did, and I think it looks way, way better. So I like the position we've got, but obviously we're levitating up quite a long way in the air, and I need to fill this area up with something. And I also probably need to get rid of some of the trees just close to the edges here, so I can build up myself a little bit of a rocky area that the entrance can build up to. So I think a little bit more of WorldEdit just to finish this area off. So what I first did was fill in under the monument with solid stone to remove any voids, and then I took an airbrush masked for birch logs and leaves and cut a clear channel all the way around the gardens to give me some room. I'll be using that brush again. I then used a sand sphere brush masked for air so it didn't take out any other blocks, and created a ring of sand that would eventually become the rocky island that this leafy oasis pyramid would be sitting on. I sculpted it a little more with a cylinder brush too to start a more natural looking shape. However, it needed smoothing terribly, so with a combination of a smoothing brush and manual block removal, and believe me, that took some time, I tried to create as close to the shape I wanted as possible before selecting the entire sandy area and transforming it into a stone combination with some water flow accents that would form the base of this dungeon. This is kind of what I had in mind, but it's not exactly right yet. The water's not going where I want it to, which it never does it? Let's face it. And I'm going to have to do some kind of water collection at the bottom, maybe a moat or something like that. We need to put a little bit more detail on these rocks. They're too bland. Things like slabs, stairs, that kind of thing. Plus a little bit of dirt here and there with some plants wouldn't be a bad idea. But I think what I'm going to do is leave that until towards the end. What I want to do is sort out this thing here. I reckon what I'm going to try and do is lift up this layer by layer so as I can access the inside. Yeah, I know, I must be mental. So I'm on the right bit now and I want to go up, but there is something in the way. So if I pop those out of the way and then I go slash up, let's say 35. Am I high enough for 35? I need to be at Y127. So if I select that, looking at that, I'm at 129. So that's absolutely brilliant. And now what I'm doing is selecting this as position 2. And then I'm going to... This is a big old gamble, my friends. I tell you, this could literally mess the whole thing up. But if I do /move and let's say 30 up, that should lift the entire selection 30 blocks up in the air and allow me access to the underside. So fingers crossed, people. If this goes wrong, I'm going to cry. And it's thinking about it. Yes, it has. And I'm not bothered that it's chopped some of these bits off, because when I pop it back down again, it won't matter, will it? Because it will just slot itself back down. That's going to make it a lot easier to access all of this area here. Oh, this has just saved me potentially hours. Of course there's the creepers. Of course there's going to be mobs all over the place. I better light it up. But I actually want to dig down a few blocks. I'm not entirely sure how many. So if this is the level we're talking about, that's the base level. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks from here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it needs to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus an extra one, so we can tell it's an extra one because we've got that bit there. I'm going to select all of this, so 2 blocks below. So that's the first selection. I'm going to come right to the opposite corner. I'm going to select the very top corner, and I'm just going to remove that. I'm just going to set that to air. Set air. That will remove all of that. It won't kill any of the mobs. And this can be the floor of our bottom chamber. You know what? I might set this to peaceful just while I'm doing this work. That will just make it a bit easier, I reckon. Right, now I can see what I'm doing. And the first thing I'm going to do is stop the cheating. So we're going to put bedrock across the entire wall. That way no one can actually dig straight in. I'm going to pop it up to there, I think. Yeah. So if I come all the way across on that level and pop a bedrock there, and then I just select that, and then come down and select this one down here, I can completely line that wall. So if I set bedrock, there we go. You can't dig through that unless you're in creative, and hopefully you won't be playing this in creative. You'll be doing it in survival, so you got to do it the right way. And for those proper cheaters amongst us, yes, I did the floor underneath that floor layer already, so you can't dig up into it either. See? No cheating. So all the bedrock is there, and I've lined that with mossy cobblestone. So if you come to a mossy cobblestone block, there's an excellent chance you're on the outer wall of this particular area. Maybe you want to use that as a bit of a clue. And now what I want to do is to create, not a labyrinth, I don't want it to be too complicated, but kind of an outline. And I don't want it in just squares either. I'm going to do that in mossy cobblestone. And before I do that, the first thing I want to do is change up all of this stone so we've got a textured floor. So I'm going to select the whole lot. I'm going to use a command that's going to ignore all the light blocks, but is going to set everything else off. So hopefully we've got a decent looking floor, and we can fiddle about with it depending on what room we've got inside. Maybe there's a room that's just dirt, maybe there's a room that's full of water, don't know, but we've got at least a floor that looks kind of cool. I'll pop that command down in the chat so you can see it and use it for yourself. Now let's crack on with these walls. In a recent stream on my Twitch channel, I built up this room as an entrance room to the bottom level of the catacombs. The Twitch audience had the opportunity to tell me what to use and how to use it, so they created this room really. I was just the block placer. If you've not followed me on Twitch yet and not joined me for a stream, do come along. The link is in the description and up on the screen now, if I remember to put it up there when I'm doing the editing. We have a really good laugh together and I'd love to see you there too. But I think it's come out rather well. We've kept in that mossy cobble theme on the wall so you know you're at the edge, but what we've also got is a little bit more of a red theme. This is kind of the fire room, if you like, and I'm going to allow that to kind of seep out into the corridors as well. We've got a few hidden things that you can open up and find treasures in. For example, if you're watching this, we've got Thunderblade in there, which is fun, and this is the stair that you're going to be coming down. Now this is obviously going, I wonder if that fire's burned that off. I might have to look at that. That's quite interesting. There's going to be another step there so you can actually make it down. And we've got the chains going across and you're going to enter from above. And I'm a little bit worried that maybe those lights are going to get in the way. I might need to play. I've cased off that netherrack fire there with a couple of upside down steps and a trapdoor, and it's a crimson wood trapdoor, so that ain't going to burn. I've also put some crimson wood trapdoors on the side here just to try and make it a little bit safer. I wonder if I put a wood trapdoor there as well, if that flaps down. Oh, that look quite nice. Now, except I'm going to be able to do that because the chain's in the way. No, if I can't do it on all of them, I'm not doing it at all. So I've got this chain as well going across both sides just to add a little bit of atmosphere. I quite like it. And it's right next to the other room that we've got here, which I think really came out well. But I don't know if you've noticed, there's still quite a lot to do, and that's just this level. So let's have a go at it. Time for more building. And with that, I do believe that this bottom level is done. And I don't mind telling you, that took me a lot longer than I thought it would. But I'm really pleased with the way it's turned out. On the stream, when we did that back corner, we decided that we were going to do it multiple biomes, which I've kept through. And some of the biomes are quite interesting with the way they've gone. Like this room that's totally ocean biome. The water's held back by signs, but once you come in, you can swim through it, you can explore, and obviously you can drown. The water level is going to be absolutely to the top, so no air pockets whatsoever. You need to work out how on earth you're not going to die. I quite like the lush cave as well. I had to move the steps because right above the steps are those lights, and I can't bury through those lights because they need to be there because there's kind of a structure on the top of that. So I've moved the steps to the side here, so it's entering along this room, which I also quite like the shape of. I must admit, it's come out really, really well. And that's got solid rock above it and also quite a deep wall, so we can actually start our entrance really nicely on that side. It's a much better idea, and I've just taken those steps off. I think it still works perfectly well there. What do you reckon? I put those animals right on the opposite side and they found their way across here. You're going to be finding pigs, cows, chickens, and goodness only knows what all the way through. And there are treasures throughout. Some of them in chests, some in barrels, and some as part of a trade, with the ultimate goal of making it right to this bit in the middle. Well, not the middle, you know what I'm talking about. This deep, dark area. And by the way, you might not want to come in here unless you are prepared, because these streakers are going to summon something if you're not careful. So I need to bring this thing back down again, and I wonder whether or not I should be doing it a few layers at a time. I have got the water there though, and I don't want that flowing all over the place, so I might need to bring it all down in one go, which isn't really what I was after. Well, let's give it a try. I think what I'm going to do is bring these 2 layers down. That means that we'll get the lights and they won't break, and the water will be collected on top of the lights as well. So I'm just going to select that, and all I need to do is use the command / move 35 down, and that should take them straight down to the point where they were before, I hope. Yeah, maybe that's not quite worked. Right, I need to work out why not. I've undone that command. Why did that not work? I want to take from there and the opposite side downwards 35. That should work. Okay, I've sussed it. I was trying to move it too far. So is it actually going down 31 blocks, not 35 is what I should be doing. So now I've got this entire floor set out. That water is being caught by here. So I've got a good area now to be able to work out exactly where it is. I've got to dig through. And I think it is somewhere along this side. So I just need to find... Where is it? Right, so that's the wrong side. Let's pull that back out. I should have done this, shouldn't I? Let's come across this here. About halfway along, I should see the stairs. So the stairs are just about there. Brilliant. So we found that, and we can make ourselves our entrance. And we also need to kind of de-edge this a little bit, don't we? Because that's just too far. Have we come down one too far on some of these? That's... Why are the chains coming out the ceiling? That's weird. And obviously, it's because I'd moved 1 block too far. It's actually 30. You'd have thought by now to take notes, wouldn't you? Right, so the end of this level will finish here, so we can come down to the very bottom level. And now it's enclosed, it looks a lot more spooky. I kind of need to just finish off these tops. Maybe put in just a few little edges to make it look less square, I don't know, just need to make it look a little bit less like it's just a flat roof, because it shouldn't be like that. I much prefer just something being there to make it a little bit more interesting as a cave roof. I do need to sort that out properly, definitely. But this is actually a lot more spooky than it was without the roof on. I really like it. I'm floating. To be able to walk through here, you need to go through these berry bushes, which is nice. There's another hole there. You've got a nice long corridor here that takes you into this corridor right here. Lots of treasures, like in this box. We've got, look, there's a really nice pickaxe there. all kinds of stuff. And there'll also be a number of nasties on your travels too. I might have boosted those nasties a little bit, just saying. So I reckon that's enough for this episode. As always, it's the end of the month, so this will be available to download to my patrons. If you go across to Patreon or my Discord, you'll see the link directly to the folder that's got this, the other world for both Bedrock and Java, plus all the schematics, including the schematic for the completely solid hanging gardens. We've still got a lot to do with this one before it's finished. That is a serious project, but once it's done, I'm going to be really pleased with it. It's probably going to be the biggest catacombs puzzle come tomb type dungeon thing in all of Minecraft. Probably. Make sure you do that likey, subscribey, commenty stuff that really helps out the channel and costs you absolutely nothing. And I'll look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.